Welcome everybody to Grieving Our Babies podcast. I'm the host that cares the most, Calvin Hawkins. This is the space where you can come and tell your stories, your pain, your journey through grief. Today's guest, Clint Dunn. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Calvin.
Where are you originally from?
Bakersfield, California.
All the way from California. Thanks for coming into the studio and doing the in-studio interview. It's I know it's very important to you, so you said you didn't want to do it remotely, so you wanted to come in. I appreciate that.
Yep, I love your studio. It's nice.
I appreciate that. Okay, so we're here to talk about your daughter, Hailey. She was 13 years old?
Yep.
Did she have any other brothers and sisters?
She got a brother named David, older brother, 3 years older. And then she's got two little sisters now, Chloe and Brooklyn. Chloe's 13 now, and Brooklyn's 10.
Well, all of y'all in California, or where y'all was?
We were in Texas. Well, I was born in California, but moved to Texas in 1989.
In 1989?
Yeah, I stayed there for like 30 years.
Yeah, Texas. I love it. All my family down there.
I'm not a big fan of the hot sun. I like it up here a lot better.
Okay, like hot Hailey. What does she like to do?
Hailey was an outdoors girl. She liked camping, sports. She liked to get her hands dirty. You know, she wasn't afraid to be dirty and get mud all over her. She wore tore-up jeans. Very outdoorsy. We went swimming a lot. She likes the water. And she was very smart. She had Duke University looking at her from the 3rd grade. Her spelling and reading was just top-notch. And a really smart kid. And just so good-hearted. Old-fashioned. She minded. She was well-behaved. Never got in trouble with the law or at school. She had a lot of friends. She liked to make people laugh. That was one of her big things. She liked to joke and play pranks.
Yeah, I did some, when you was telling me about it, I did a little research on her. And it says that friends describe Hailey as fun, crazy, random, and someone who knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
That describes her to the T, huh?
Yeah, she's solid like that, you know. She did know what she wanted, and she was the type that would stand up for somebody that if she seen something going wrong. She was not scared one bit to stand up to a bully or to tell somebody what's on her mind.
I also was doing my research. I seen she was very active and talented. She played basketball and softball, and she was in the played the saxophone in the band.
Yep, she played volleyball also. She ran track. She was a cheerleader. And, yeah, she really liked softball. It's probably her favorite sport.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Hailey, she lived with you at the, or your mom, or were they still together? Her mom name was what? Billie Jean, right?
Yeah, she lived in 2008. Me and Billie Jean separated, and the kids stayed with her. I wanted the kids to stay with her, stay with the house, stay with the vehicle, and I left and stayed out of town. So, yeah, the kids stayed with her, and we thought that would be the best thing.
Okay. So let's get to what happened. I know this. Every parent wish nothing bad would happen to their babies. So I was doing my research. She disappeared 2 days after Christmas, correct?
Yeah. Yep, Christmas was the 25th on a Saturday, and that Monday was the last time anybody seen her. Sean Atkins was the last one to see her. And he said that she was going to go to my house. She said she was going to go to my house, and that she was going to go to her friend's house and stay a night. and that was the last time that she was seen. Last time I seen her was the day after Christmas. That's Sunday. She stayed the night at my house, and she left about 11 o'clock that morning and went home. I lived right across the street from her, like literally right across the street. I lived in an apartment, and she lived in our old house.
So she went missing right across the street.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. I'm sorry to hear that. So that was on the 27th, but I was looking at some stuff. It says her mom with Billie Jean, she didn't report it till the 28th. You know why?
I guess she thought that she was spending the night at somebody's house, and she didn't come home on the 28th. And Billie Jean called me around 11 or 12 that day, noon, from work, and she said that Hailey didn't come home last night or this morning, and she was supposed to stay night at a friend's house. Supposed to go to my house and then stay night at friends. I'm like, well, what's going on? Where's she at? And she's like, I need you to call the police and file a report, a missing report. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I said, you know what? You hang up this damn phone right now and you call the police as soon as we hang up. And I hung up on her and then gave her about 10 minutes and I called her back. I'm like, did you call the police? She's like, yeah, I'm coming home. So that's how I found out about it. And yeah, I never could understand why she wanted me to call the police. You know, I didn't have any information. I didn't know what friend she was supposed to go stay at. I didn't know anything. So that's how I found out.
So, and Sean was the last person, that's the mom's boyfriend, right?
Yeah,
so he was the last person to see her, so he says, right?
Yeah, he was a live-in boyfriend.
Did you guys get along?
No, not really. I was living in Snyder, a town about 20 miles away, at my mom's house. Whenever me and Billie Jean had separated, about 6 months after we separated, he comes over looking for Billie Jean. And I'm like, she's not here. She ain't been here. And he's like, yeah, I know she's there, and I'm going to kick your ass. I'm like, she's not here, but I'm going to give you all you can handle. And so we went out in the yard and we scrapped. I put him to sleep. The police came, they took him away, and that was one of the interactions that I feel like it's my fault that he did anything because I feel like he was getting back at me for putting him to sleep in my yard. He was probably pretty embarrassed. He's 6'3", I'm 5'6", and put him to sleep. And you know, a weird thing about that is I can't. Been trying to find the police records that shows that he went to jail, and they took him to the hospital and then they went to jail, and there's no police records of that fight ever even happening.
Did he know somebody inside the law enforcement?
I don't know. I don't know. He had a weapon in the car. The police pulled it out of the car. They took it, and you know, he was on my property, and I told him I wanted to press charges. Whenever they were taking him away, I'm like, I want to press charges on this dude. You know, he came to my house. He insulted me. So.
And when you said you think he did this to get back at you, he's the one that they arrested, right? That for Hailey's disappearance.
Yeah, he's been arrested for it once. Yeah. In 2023, or no, 2022, they arrested him.
So, it says that she went missing. How long after did y'all find her? And like, what did y'all do? Like search parties or?
Yeah. So Billie Jean calls me that day, and I start making phone calls right away. And I go to her friend's house to see if she's there, check all of her friends' houses, and I had just blown up my car a week before, blowing the motor, so I was on foot. And me and my girlfriend and our newborn baby and her son just start walking down the alleys and down the streets, checking every dumpster, every ditch, every abandoned house, every garage. And we spent that day and the next day just walking and searching.
And then some point in time, the Texas Rangers got involved, right?
Yeah.
And the FBI?
Yeah. So the police department labels her a runaway for the first week. And we all told the police, like, that's not even in her vocabulary. You know, we're sure that she didn't run away. There's something else going on. And they brought police dogs or scent dogs out from the prison, some bloodhounds, and they picked up her scent to a hotel, but they said they couldn't find anything there. So about 2 weeks later, I mean, I'm calling everybody. I'm calling all the news stations, and I'm calling the FBI like several times a day, and I'm just crying to them, begging them, please, please, you've got to help me. There's something else going on. My girl didn't run away. And they were just hanging up on me. I didn't even know that they were going to start helping. The last time I talked to them, they hung up on me. And then just a couple days later, they're on the scene, and the Texas Rangers are on the scene, and they're investigating this now. At one point, we had Secret Service there investigating this. And then news crews started showing up in front of Billie Jean's house, CNN, Nancy Grace, and K-Texas. There was 3 news vans out there for about a month and a half. So we were going on Nancy Grace. We were just doing news interviews. And any tip that I would get, I would just get in the car and go straight to that town and try to find what they were seeing. You know, I would have somebody tell me, we seen somebody look just like Hailey in Odessa, Texas. And so get in the car, go to Odessa, go to this neighborhood, and talk to every business, stop at every house, knock on every door, you know, show them the picture of Hailey. Have you seen her? And every lead, you know, it wasn't her every time. There was a girl in Canada that looked just like her that we went and found out that it wasn't her. And for 2.5 years, we searched for her. And going to traffic 911 rallies. I talked to people, Congresswoman Granger. I even wrote the President of the United States a letter to try to get help. And for 2.5 years, searched. And then her remains were found about 20 miles away from her town, out of town, by Lake J.B. Thomas. She was found.
Like, how long did that take for y'all guys to find her?
2.5 years. And she was found in an area that had already been searched. And I don't have no details of how her remains were. I don't know if they were buried. I don't know if they were scattered, if they were they've never told me anything about how her remains were, if they were all there or anything.
So the exact location that y'all had already searched, Hailey body all of a sudden turns up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a guy was out there looking for arrowheads, and he found some bones, and he turned them in, and it turned out to be Hailey's.
Oh, man. I'm sorry, brother. So after that, and the remains was found, so how did they get on the investigation or messing with Sean? I know you said that you think he did that to get back at you, but why would he do that to her?
Well, him and Billie Jean had gotten to a fight, I think in 2008, and Billie Jean had called the police, and there's a recording of Billie Jean, and she told the police that they were fighting, and he was threatening to take her life and to take her kid's life. And he said he was going to do something that everybody would remember forever. And that was on a phone call to the police department.
And that was on tape.
Mm-hmm.
So she did, after Hailey went missing and everything, did Billie Jean stay with him?
Yeah, she protected him. She lied for him. The police came and had a body search warrant one day. They came to her house, and so they wanted to search his body for scratches and stuff like that. And she lied to him and hid him in the closet. And she lied to the police and said that he wasn't even there. Well, they searched anyways. They found him in the closet. They arrested her for hindering an investigation. And she got out the next day, but yeah, she, from the very beginning, she was lying.
She loved him more than she loved her own child.
Yeah,
That's what it seems like to me.
Seems like it. And you know, Billie Jean was never the person that she is now. She was never like that whenever we were together. You know, her and Sean were doing drugs, they were doing porn, and those are things that me and Billie Jean never did. She wouldn't let me smoke a joint. I mean, I smoke a marijuana joint, and she's down to get a divorce for that. So that's how it was. We didn't do drugs, and we didn't watch porn. You know, wasn't nothing like that involved.
So he basically brainwashed her then.
That's what I think. That's what I think happened.
So once they got to investigating him, how long after was he arrested?
Not until 11 years later. He had been a person of interest from the very beginning. He was a suspect at a short time, and then they moved it to a person of interest. Because the Monday morning, the 27th, he says that him and Billie Jean got into an argument that night before. And so that morning, they have his cell phone pings all over the place for about a 40-mile radius around that town in all directions. He drove here, he drove here, he drove here. And he told them that he was just driving around drinking, thinking about, you know, him and his relationship with Billie Jean. And he was just driving around drinking and thinking. Well, he was pinged right here where Hailey was found. So
Do they know how? Sorry about that. Do they know how long he was with his phone pinged in that area? Like how the amount of time he stayed there?
They probably do, but they never released that. They never released how long he was there. They just released that his cell phone tower was pinged right there where Hailey was found. So he was in that area, the 27th.
So they never collect any evidence from him, like clothing, shoes.
Yeah. So they took coveralls and they took work boots. And both of these items had mud on them. And the mud had matched up to the mud that's around that lake where she was found. You see, each lake on planet Earth have what you call diatoms, and they're microscopic organisms that live specifically in a body of water. And every lake is different. It's like fingerprints for each lake. So there was diatoms found on his clothes and on his boots that matched Lake J.B. Thomas, where she was found. They also found one of her hairs on his coveralls, and they found one of her hairs in the trunk of the car. Oh, and they also found one of his hairs on a piece of duct tape that was in his tool bag. He had a tool bag, he had duct tape in there, and on the side of the duct tape was a piece of Hailey's hair. That's 3 big things right there, you know, that should be enough to arrest somebody. But the problem with the diatoms is the FBI tested that, and their test came back inconclusive. They waited 3 years, 4 years later, and they tested it again through a different unconventional test in Baylor University. That test tested positive for a match of diatoms from that lake where she was found to the mud on his clothes. So the FBI had said that they will still testify in court that their test came up negative. And so I guess that's why they don't want to bring him to court on that. They don't even want to use it.
But like her hair is on his clothes, her hair on the duct tape. He had the same type of duct tape in his home or in his car, right?
I don't know. It was a work bag in his car. It was in the trunk of the car.
But Hailey's hair was on there.
And they had Hailey's hair on there.
But why they didn't use that evidence? That's
because they lived together, and so Hailey's hair could be on his clothes or something, because they were both living together in the same house. So they said that wouldn't hold up in court.
But they went and arrested him, though, right? 11 years later.
Yeah. They arrested him. And they held him for a year and a half, or almost 2.5 years. And right before court, they released him.
On the grounds of?
Inconclusive evidence. Didn't have enough evidence on him.
So they just really messed the case up anyway, because if they wasn't supposed to, if they had inconclusive evidence, why would they go get him then? That's just making your life harder and the case harder.
Yep. I think law enforcement botched this case from the very beginning. It was a bunch of rookies and rejects in the police department in a town of 1,200 people. And they didn't have anybody that knew what they were doing. They had never had a person be kidnapped before. So, and then I think that the police department had messed it up so bad by the time the FBI and the Texas Rangers came in that evidence had already been messed up. You know, they didn't collect the evidence right. They didn't pass them right. Something.
So they didn't bag and tag anything.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know, whenever we talked to the Attorney General was the person representing Hailey in this case. And they came up here and talked to me, and they said that law enforcement had messed up in a lot of different places on this case.
So since they let Sean out, they don't have any more suspects?
No, I haven't even heard anything. It's been over a year, and I haven't heard anything from law enforcement since they let him out.
So you don't think they're going to work it no more?
I don't know. I'm so much in the dark. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they would have even let him out. It should be an open-closed case. I mean, and just circumstantial evidence is enough to convict them, I think. And I would like them to go to court and to try to convict them.
Yeah, especially if everything was pinging where he was at, and like where Hailey's body and stuff was at, and that he was pinging in that area, and then they found all the hair. That should be grounds for arrest. He shouldn't even be out of jail.
Yeah, he should be locked up.
So, is Billie Jean still with him, or she still talk to him, or you not know that, or do you even talk to her?
Oh, I haven't talked to her in, I guess, maybe like 2017 was the last time I talked to her. And as far as I know, they broke up about a year and a half to 2 years after Hailey went missing. So they stayed together for quite a while. They stayed together for about a year and a half, and then they broke up.
Where's their brother?
Billie Jean's brother?
No,
Oh, David?
Yes, Hailey's brother.
David and Billie Jean both moved to South Texas. And That was, 3-4 months after Hailey went missing. They had both moved from Colorado City, and they both moved to Austin, and then now they live in New Braunfels or Gonzales, Texas.
And y'all was able to give her a proper burial, though, right?
I don't know. I didn't get to go and bury her. Law enforcement had contacted me and said that they were going to release the remains to me. And this is in 2017. So I started making arrangements to have her buried in Colorado City, where she was, where everybody knew her. That's where she lived at. And so a couple of days later, law enforcement called. I mean, I'm about to get her bones. I'm fixing to go and pick them up. And they call me and they say, well, things have changed. We can't give them to you. We have to give them to Billie Jean. And I said, why? Well, Billie Jean's the guardian. I said, no, actually, CPS came and removed both kids from Billie Jean after she went missing. I said, they removed David from Billie Jean, and they said that she wouldn't get David back because of all the drug use that was involved. And so, I don't know.
So you never found out where her remains was at, and they buried her, but didn't invite you?
Yeah. Yep. They buried her somewhere down in South Texas there, and they didn't invite me.
And this is, man.
I've never seen her grave. I've heard that she doesn't even have a tombstone.
And you haven't talked to her anymore to even try to, does she have family like Billie Jean that you can find out, or they won't talk to you no more either?
Not really. None of them will talk to me.
Not even David?
No. Last time I talked to David was Thanksgiving of 2017. And right after that, I had gone on Crime Watch Daily, and I had mentioned my suspicions to Billie Jean being involved and knowing something. And ever since then is when David quit talking to me.
So he got mad at you for doing that?
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. Wow. So I pray that she get justice. I know that you praying that she get some type of justice. I know when me and my wife went through the situation, it started affecting my health and everything. Has it affected you in any way? What about you, and what about your kids? So it's a two-part question. So how it affected your other kids that you have in your possession now, like in custody now with you, and how has it affected your health?
Well, I got a broken heart. I had 2 heart attacks in 2021. I got heart disease now, and there's not even heart disease in my family. So it was kind of a mystery to the doctors, like, why is your heart messing up? You don't have any history of this in your family. I'm like, well, my heart's broken, man. I lost my kid, and it took a piece of me. So it's affected me. I took it was depressed and fought addiction for 3 years after her remains were found. And then I started seeing counseling and getting on medications that they prescribed to me, and they didn't do right. They made me put on about 40 pounds, and I took those medications. I took 3 different kinds for 3 or 4 years, and none of those seemed to help. And so, yeah, it's really messed me up in my head, and I lost my career in the oil field. I used to be a driller on a drilling rig, And after Hailey went missing, I couldn't get nobody to hire me. You know, people knew me really well in the oil field in West Texas, and they knew I was a good hand and that I knew my stuff. But they would tell me, we're not going to hire you because you're going through too much right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'm starving, man. I need to work. I need to do something. I can't just, you know, I got a family still to take care of now. And so, yeah, my career got ruined. I got pretty much blackballed out of the West Texas oil field and couldn't get another job out there because everybody knew me. You know, every single company, I worked for a lot of companies, and they all knew me, and they all see me on TV, and they're like, you know, and I almost can't blame them. You know, I would be in control and in charge of 5 other lives if I was to go back out there because I was a driller. And so I was the manager of the rig, and they didn't want to take that and put it on me, I guess.
So that's why y'all had to relocate to the Midwest?
Yeah.
Or y'all wanted to relocate to the Midwest because y'all didn't want to be down there anymore? That's understandable right there, though.
Yeah, both reasons. I needed to get up here. I was a caregiver for a 90-year-old woman, and I moved up here taking care of her and to get away from Texas. You know, when I had my addiction, when I walked away from that, I walked away from every family member and every friend that I had.
Excuse me.
And so I walked away from everything. Everything that I had, everybody that I had, I just walked away from it all. And in 2017, started concentrating on getting custody of Chloe, because I hadn't seen Chloe in 3 years. And so I was just trying to get to find her and get to see her. And then I started fighting for custody. It took almost 2 years to get her.
And they know about the situation about their sister?
Yeah.
How does it affect them in any way?
My youngest daughter, it doesn't affect, I don't think, as much. It does affect, but not as much. But Chloe, you know, she was born, right? She was 3 months old when Hailey went missing. She's just a little baby. And for the next year, she was in the car while I was driving. And, I mean, for about 9 months, I just looking for her, you know, begging for money, borrowing money, whatever I got to do. Somebody give me some money for some gas. I got to get gas, and I got to go look. And about 9 months later, I'm driving in the car. I'm going to El Paso to go down to Mexico to pass out some flyers down there. And I'm driving, and it's nighttime, and I look over, and I'm like, oh, shit. I got a family here to take care of, man. And I just realized, like, crap, dude, I got a family here. What the hell have I been doing, you know? I don't even know how they survived. I don't know how they ate. Anything. Because I hadn't paid any attention to them.
Yeah, it's called that losing track of time. You like focused and depressed and not knowing. I've been there.
Yep.
So I really know what you're going through. I lost 3 years, man, in my family. I lost 3 years. I had to take accountability for that. But yeah, I know what you're going through, and like that heart attack and stuff. I know that too, because after we had did that with my daughter, with Nikisha, I had a heart attack like seven days later from when I started protesting. That hurts bad. So I know the feeling. That hurts.
Yeah. And then I realized I had to find a balance. You know, I still got to find my daughter, but I got another daughter right here that I've got it taken care of. So I started trying to balance it out about 9 months later. And I did get a job back on the drilling rig in Dallas, and I worked for them for about 1.5 years. And, you know, started balancing things out, taking care of my family that I had, plus still looking for Hailey and just trying to find answers. And I was like a chicken with his head cut off. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any experience doing any of this. I'd never thought about this had ever happening, so I was just so unprepared. You know, that's the worst thing about losing your kid. You're not prepared for that, man. You don't never think, I need to think of that. Maybe that'll happen, because you don't. It's just such a slap in the face.
Yeah, it comes out of left field, and you can see them 1 minute, and the next minute they gone, man. It's crazy. I understand your pain. That's why I created Grieving Our Babies podcast for parents like us, because I know family, sometimes they can be the worst ones. They just close the door on you because they don't want you to talk about them no more, but that's your child. You have to talk about them. And then they just start pushing you to the side and don't want you coming around. And I understand that, but it's still your child. You are the one that's living with that every single day, day in and day out. So I understand, man. I understand your pain.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's a piece of me that I've lost, and that I look at myself every day. I'm like, man, I used to be a badass, and I wish I could get a piece of that back. But I'm different now. It's way different now. Really emotional. It's hard to talk. You know, I can't go through a day without constantly thinking about Hailey. I mean, every hour there's something that reminds me of Hailey. I think about Hailey. When I go to watch a movie, you know, I'll look at the date of the movie. I don't know if you do this, but I'll, you know, when I watch a movie, and if it's an older movie, I'll look at the date to see if Hailey was alive when that movie came on. So like, yeah, I bet you me and Hailey probably watched this, and it'll make me want to watch it more because I feel like it's a connection. You know, we're kind of watching it together. And it's a weird thing that I do, and sometimes I make her a glass of tea, or I'll make her favorite food and set it in the living room with me when I'm eating. I only do this when I'm alone, but I'll put a TV show on, something that we watched before, you know, and I'll watch a movie with her. I invite her all the time to come and chill with me and watch a movie.
Yeah, I do something like that, but we used to watch scary movies all the time, and the last scary movie we watched, it was probably like a half hour before Keisha was killed, was Insidious 2. And now I can't even watch scary movies no more, man. It's not that they scare me, it's just like I can't watch them no more. I feel like something gonna happen bad after watching it, so I don't watch it no more at all.
Yeah, I don't like movies with killing at all anymore. You know, it's like some movies I just won't touch, like Taken, or anything that has involved with, you know, little kids being hurt or kidnapped or killed. I can't even go there. I don't want to. There's no good to me. They just hit too close to home.
Yeah, because I used to watch First 48 all the time. All the time. Like every single day I would just watch First 48. And before my dad died, he was like, man, why you always watching this stuff? Like, I was like, I don't know, Dad. I watched it. And I was like, man, that's messed up. And I watched it all the time until July 24th, 2011. We became a First 48. It looked just like the First 48 TV show. And then I had to stop watching it. But now, sometimes I'll find myself watching it so I can have strength to be able to help parents like us. I have to watch it so I don't break down anymore. So I'm able to come on here and do my job. So I'm able to help you guys. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. By doing this show, this helps me, helps y'all. And y'all don't know, this is helping, this helps me too. It really helps me because if I can see and feel that I'm helping you guys get y'all story out, it makes me feel good. Because I know one thing, that door was shut on us for a long time. Nobody wanted to listen to us. Nobody wanted to hear us. And now I used to go on Facebook to see what other parents or other people would say bad about me, but now I don't even care no more. The only thing that matters to me is making sure these kids is cool and with that foundation, and making sure parents like you guys have a voice. That's why I always extend my hand. Like, come on the show, talk about it. Because your family, they would turn their back on y'all. But this right here will help get y'all out there and help get y'all out there. So that's what it helps me also.
Yeah, and this case definitely needs help. You know, there's just so many parts to it. You know, not just specifically to Hailey, but things like. So I got custody of my youngest daughter now. I've had her for over 2 years, and I can't get a custody. A different custody order. I can't get a modification. So I got a lawyer, paid $300 to try to get a modification so I could quit paying child support, because they're charging me child support every month. And the lawyer said that the case is not even in the system. I'm like, it's got to be in the system because I'm paying child support. Look, I get a letter every month from the Attorney General. And right now I'm freaking $5,000 behind because I've had custody of her for the last 2.5 years, and y'all are still making me want to pay her mom, who's been in prison for the last 2.5 years.
So she getting money in prison, or where's the money going?
I haven't been paying it. I'm fixing to go to jail. They sent me a letter 2 months ago, said that they're about to start taking all my assets and they're going to put a warrant out for my arrest. And I said, you know what? Go bring it. Arrest me, and I'll get a lawyer. Somebody's going to help me fix this because I'm not doing anything. I'm taking care of my daughter. My daughter's in school. She hasn't missed school. She had a perfect attendance for the second semester last year. She's going to doctors, dentist appointments, therapists, counselors. She goes for her annual checkups. I'm doing all the things right, taking care of my kids. She's got a steady home. She doesn't do without a house. She doesn't do without food.
So where is she in prison at?
Well, she got out of prison 2 months ago. She was
in
prison.
Texas?
Yeah, she was in prison for Texas for drugs and child endangerment.
Brother, it seems like they got a vendetta on you down there in Texas, man. You better not go back down there.
I really don't understand.
Excuse me.
They're mad at me because I've told everybody that they're worthless. That the law enforcement in those small towns they're rookies and rejects. They're not very good. And that is not worth the shit. They should have had this case closed a long time ago. And they messed up so bad. And they want to protect each other now because of that. And so, yeah, they're mad at me. Dude, I got a house down there. The house that Hailey lived in. In 2012, I go about to lose this house to taxes, right? Because Billie Jean quit paying taxes when I moved out in 2008. So in 2012, I go down there. And the day that the house was lost on taxes, I paid. And what that did was take it out of both of our names and it put it in only my name. So the house is in my name now, my name solely. And I paid $500 just to get it started, and then I move away and I don't take care of the house and I do other things. And so they tear the house down in 2015. Said it was structurally unsafe, but it wasn't. It was people were going in there doing drugs in the house and just using it for a flop house. And so the city determined that it was dangerous and they tore the house down. So the property is still in my name. Taxes keep building up every year. The taxes are up to $17,000 right now. $17,000 that they want me to pay. And so I can't even sell the property to get that out of my name, because right now I should be getting Social Security for my older daughter, and I should be getting Social Security for me. We're both approved, but they found out that I have assets that are over $2,000, that property, which is worth $2,600, so I can't get Social Security. They were about to cut me an $18,000 check for the
arrears.
The arrears. And they called me and said, we're about to cut you a check for $18,000. Everything's good. And then the next day they call me, oh, we found this asset. You're not getting anything because you lied to us. I'm like, what asset? You have a piece of property in Texas. I'm like, no, I don't. They took that. They tore that shit down. Well, it's still in your name. I've been calling the sheriff of Colorado City, Patrick Toombs. I've called him and I've asked him, can you please take this property and put it in for an auction and sell? Because I can't get Social Security for my kid, and it's gonna help me with my kid. She's got to go to counseling, and she's got a therapist, and I need help getting her to all these places and all the extra stuff that I have to do to help her get along. She's got some problems, and they won't do it. They won't take the house back. I've had 3 people contact me and said that they called Colorado City and they said they were going to pay the taxes on the house. This was a couple years ago when it was $15,000. They had the $15,000 cash. They were going to pay the taxes to get it out of my name. Colorado City won't even let them. They won't let nobody even buy the house.
That's so you won't be able to take care of nothing that you got going. They want you to suffer.
Yep, because they're a bunch of clowns. And I won't shut up about it. And that's what they are. And I need somebody to help me. I need a lawyer. I need somebody to look into this that's
sorry.
That's smart and that knows what to do, because they're doing me wrong, man. From the day that they told me that Sean Atkins killed my kid. Ever tell you about that?
No.
So, when Hailey goes missing, they start a search center. And, dude, there's thousands of people searching for my daughter. It was a huge search. The search center goes on for about 4 months. And I'm showing up to the search center every once in a while just to give everybody my support. I'm not going out on these searches with them because I didn't want to find my kid. But I'm supporting everybody and I'm thanking them all the time. One time, Patrick Toombs, the sheriff, and Billy Sides, the lead investigator, they bring me outside and we're walking and we get away from the search center a little bit, and they stop me and they look at me in the eyes. They say, Clint, Sean Atkins killed your daughter. I said, what? They said, Sean Atkins killed your daughter. I look at his gun on his hip. I look at his gun. I said, y'all are telling me this? With those guns on your hip? What the fuck y'all expect me to go do? I said, y'all are doing this to get me to go kill this motherfucker, ain't you? And they just didn't say nothing. They just sat there. They just kind of looked at me. I'm saying, this ain't right. If y'all know that he killed my daughter, why aren't y'all arresting him? Why would y'all tell me like this? I said, y'all are telling me only for one reason. There's only one reason y'all would tell me like that. Because y'all botched this case so bad and you know you're not going to get no arrest, and you want me, a fucking worthless pothead, to go and take care of it.
Man, bro.
So, from the very beginning, they told me straight up that Sean killed my daughter. And they did that so I would take care of it.
Yeah, I know.
And I never did nothing in this town. I wasn't a troublemaker. The worst thing I did was I would hot rod my car every once in a while, turn a corner and peel out. That's all I did. I had a couple of marijuana tickets, or marijuana charges, for getting caught with a bag of weed when I'm doing my peeling out. I never had no thieving charges, no violent charges, no alcohol charges, no drug charges other than pot. I didn't do anything wrong in this town. I worked hard. I took care of my family.
I'm sorry you have, and your kids have to go through this, man. This don't make no sense. And from a father, I know your pain, and this is just ridiculous. And they need to do something about this. like, if there are any lawyers out there that can help this man, his name is Clint Dunn. Help this man. Anyone out there that have any information on Hailey's death or anything that can possibly help this family to get them anything they need, just get them some type of justice so they can have some type of peace. Please just reach out to the Colorado Springs, Colorado City, Texas, the authorities. Please help this family because this don't make no sense. All this stuff that he's telling me, he's going through it. His kids is going through it. His health is declined, and he can't get no help to take care of his kids. Please help this man.
Yeah, I mean, how are they charging? How am I $7,000 behind on child support on a kid that I've had? CPS called me and asked me to go pick her up in Texas.
And you were here?
I was down there in 20 hours after they called me and told me that. We immediately got in the car and then went down there. We went to the police station at the town that she was at, and the police went to the house, her grandma's house, and we picked her up. And ever since then, I've filed for 3 remodifications for my child support, for the court papers. I've filed for 3 of those, and just haven't got any answers. The letters that they send me every month, I've handwritten every address on that letter and asked them that something's wrong here. I shouldn't be paying child support on a kid that I'm taking care of. And get this. So they want me to pay them child support. And $50 of that child support is supposed to go to Medicaid. Well, right now, she's been on Medicaid here in Indiana for the last 2.5 years. So that means Texas is trying to commit fraud against Indiana. It's the way I have it figured. They're trying to get me to pay them for what Indiana's paying for. Indiana's got the Medicaid covered. But Texas wants me to pay them because they want to say they have Medicaid covered and they don't.
So when you had to go down there to get your daughter, excuse me, did they have any paperwork that you needed to sign?
No, nothing. They just told me to bring the paperwork that I had from court showing that we had split custody. They just said bring that.
So they didn't have you sign no paperwork and they didn't sign no paperwork. They just released it to you.
Yeah. And then I've contacted CPS since then several times, and they've ghosted me. They won't talk to me. Because they screwed up putting my daughter in such danger. Whenever we went through the custody battle, Brooklyn's counselor, Brooklyn's ad litem, and Brooklyn's foster mom were all saying, you need to give this kid to the dad. The mom's in bad shape. She's on drugs. She's not doing good. Nobody listened to these people, and they still gave her to the mom. 3 months later, mom was in jail. And then she gets out. 3 months after that, she's in jail again. Brooklyn's staying in the car. She's staying at friends' houses. She's getting left at people's houses. She's just getting passed around here and there. And she was in danger. And it messed her up. Brooklyn having to go through all that stuff messed her up, emotionally. And CPS should have never done that. They put her in bad danger when there was no reason not to give her to me. The mom had a lot of reasons not to have her because she was doing drugs, breaking the law, all kinds of stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I got custody of my other kid. She goes to school. And they had no reason not to give me my daughter. The same thing happened with Chloe when I had to fight for Chloe. I had to fight for her for 2.5 years. CPS took her from the mom because the mom was on drugs. And they wouldn't give her back to me because mom told CPS that I killed my other daughter.
Are you serious?
So CPS thought that I had killed my other daughter just because Mom told him that. And we're sitting there in a big CPS meeting. We got all the lawyers and ad litem and all the CPS workers. Mom is over there. I'm over here. And then it comes out that since Clint killed his other daughter, he's not going to get custody. I slammed my hand on the table. I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about? I killed another daughter. And they kind of look at Naomi. Well, Naomi said, I said, no. I mean, I was yelling. I didn't kill my other daughter. I said, this is why y'all treat me like this? This is why y'all making me go through the ringer? This is why you making me do psych evaluations and I've had to do all these drug testing? I didn't do any drugs. I passed every drug test. This is why y'all are running me through the ringer because she told y'all I killed another kid? I still had to fight for another year to get custody of her.
So do you think that's what's the story that's going down there? They saying that, so that's what's making everything harder for you to get any type of justice, any type of anything?
I guess. I don't know why they treat me so bad, and I don't want to sit here and be a freaking victim and say, you know, cry about it, but they're treating me bad, dude. In some ways that are messing up my life, messing up my kid's life. We're struggling, and they're just kicking me when I'm down.
And won't no lawyer down there take it because they see that
there's
everything.
No case. Not for Brooklyn. There's no case for that. I've talked to lawyers on all of this, dude. I've gotten lawyers here, and they said that they can't do anything because it's a Texas case. And I'm like, well, Brooklyn's not a Texas resident. She's been here for over 2 years. She's now an Indiana resident. And can't get nobody to help. I don't know if I can't get them to understand what's going on, if they're just not looking at it. The lady that I paid a lawyer in Texas, and she did absolutely, I paid her $300 so she could tell me there's nothing she can do because this case doesn't exist. And I faxed her, I emailed her the court papers. I was like, here, look at the court papers. It damn sure does exist. She's like, this is all good, except for it wasn't signed by a judge. She said, none of this is no good if it's not signed by a judge. The judge has to sign this. He's the most important signature. I'm like, well, it's got to be somewhere signed by the judge. I don't know why they sent me this one. So, I don't know.
They just sent you paperwork to shut you up, it seemed like. And they ain't signing nothing. So, you're not down there. So, there's nothing that you can do about it. We need to get this podcast out there so people can help, or somebody can help you, man. Cause I was remembering when I wasn't getting no help, when I went on different platforms, that's how I began to get help too. So we're gonna push this on the platforms that you know that's got like over 18,000 people. We're gonna post this on there, and I know it got somebody in there that can help. Some type of lawyer, somebody. So we just gonna push this to the limit.
Yeah, there's still more stuff too. I mean, I should have wrote it all down because it's just a mess of things going on where they're doing things wrong. They're not doing things right. Chloe should have been getting Social Security since 2018, and me. Should have been getting some 2018. It's been a struggle ever since.
And you were approved for it.
Yes. And here I am with PTSD, no career anymore. In 2021, after my heart attack, I did go back to college. I got my GED and I went to college because I wanted to do something to take care of my kids. And I'm fixing to finish college this year for ancient civilizations and geology, but that's not helping me get a job either. It was really just things that I really liked, and yeah, I'm struggling, dude. I can't get a job, and I've got a bad heart now, so I can't go and do construction. I can't go dig ditches and shovel shit. My heart ain't gonna, 2 hours a day, maybe I can do that. That's all I can handle.
Man, bro. This is a story.
Fuck Texas. You can take that part out, but man, fuck Texas, dude. They're doing me horrible. Because what? Because I said y'all ain't worth a shit. I said that about everybody on my case. I'm mad at everybody. FBI, Texas Rangers, Nancy Grace, everybody. Nancy Grace she a bitch too. You take that part out, man. So Nancy Grace, we do like 5 or 6 shows with her, me and Billie Jean. And then we're supposed to do a show and she cancels. And I call her up. I call her producer and I ask her, I said, why did Nancy Grace cancel? We're supposed to do a show tonight. And she says, because Billie Jean lied to Nancy Grace on the last show. I said, so y'all ain't gonna help me find my daughter now? Because Billie Jean lied? I said, don't do a show with Billie Jean. Let's do a show with me. I said, this isn't about Nancy Grace and Billie Jean. This is about Hailey. And we're trying to find her, dude. I said, y'all gotta be kidding me. Y'all ain't gonna help me no more because Billie Jean lied to you? I said, that should make you want to do the show even more so you get down to the bottom of this and we could find out what's going on. We could find my daughter. And Nancy Grace wouldn't do another show with me because Billie Jean lied to her. It's shit like that just ain't right.
Man. This right here, this is... I'm sorry you're going through this, man. This don't make no sense at all. Yeah.
Dude, God is the one that's kept me here. Is my faith. And because I know that things are going to turn out right, and I know that justice is going to come. Whether it comes here or if it comes there. Justice is going to come, and Sean Atkins is going to pay the price. That's what kept me from being homicidal. Because I know he's going to pay the price one of these days. He's going to pay.
If you feel that in your heart and you stay prayed up, bro, that's exactly what's going to happen. There's no statute on limitation on murder. And God sees everything killers do. So they may think they're getting away with something now. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come next year. But sure enough, it's going to come.
Yeah, I believe firmly in that.
It's going to come.
That's what gives me peace. I have peace. And I already forgive the dude. Because he's going to get what's coming. It's not up to me to judge him and to give him what's coming. He's going to get what's coming. And me forgiving him is not for him, that's for me. That's so I can have peace in my life. And that's something that I found and that I cherish. That's one thing that I do have is peace.
That was the hardest thing for me to have to do too, man. At first I was not thinking about forgive nothing. I know my wife and my son had forgave the person that did that to my daughter. I didn't forgive him for nothing, man, but now I done forgave him. I don't even got time, man. I got to focus on better things. I got to continue living my life. And just like you said, I forgave him so I can have peace. Will I forget it? Never. Ever in life. Said, but I got to move on, and that's what I have done. And so now you said you got some other stuff going on, right?
Yeah. About a month ago, I started this project called the Forever Love Strain. And, this is with me trying to deal with the depression and the aftermath of all this. I went through my addiction, went through depression, and then I went through all these different medicines that doctors put me on, and I found that cannabis was one of the best things that helped alleviate my pain, helped me sleep, and helped me with my anxiety and my depression. And so I've had a goal for a while to move to Michigan so I can legally grow and legally smoke. And it's getting to where I don't know if I'm ever going to make it there. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to create Hailey's Bubblegum, a strain of cannabis that was tailored to my needs and would taste like bubblegum, one of Hailey's favorite flavors. And it would be something that, a legacy that she would have. And so after thinking about this, and I contacted some cannabis breeders to see if they would do this for me, and I got like 20 breeders instantly contacting me back saying, yes, I will do this for you. We'll do it for free. Won't even charge you. And I just started thinking, man, I think this could do a lot of good to a lot of parents. So I've created this project to where a parent that's in our position that uses cannabis for their medicine can get a strain named after their kid and be a strain that is dedicated to them and their child, and it'd be a legacy they could leave behind. And then also they could work closely with the breeder that creates their strain, and he could guide them on how to cultivate their cells, in a legal state, and he could teach them how to cultivate for therapeutic purposes, because gardening is very therapeutic. It is for me. I got plants all on my balcony, flower plants, not cannabis plants. But I got petunias and succulents and all kinds of plants. And every day I go out there, I water them, and I just chill. And I think that this a big part of my therapy is spending time with my plants and meditation and relaxing with like that.
Since you talking to some people, you got like a any like a deadline, or have they started working on it, or?
See, I haven't introduced this to people like us yet. I've only talked to breeders. So now that I've got a handful of breeders all around the United States, California, Virginia, Michigan, Ohio, Oklahoma. So what I want to do now is find a parent that's really having a hard time dealing with grief, and I want to hook them up with that breeder so they could work one-on-one and find a strain that's really going to alleviate their pain. You know, a lot of people think they want to smoke the stuff that'll put them down in the chair, and like, that's not what you need when you're depressed. You need something that's going to pick you up and make you happy and make you feel good. And a lot of people need to be educated on that. They don't know what they want, so get with a breeder and educate them on what strains and terpenes and cannabinoids they really need that's going to help their symptoms. And dang, I blanked just now. So and the breeders can help them learn how to cultivate their own cannabis and get therapy out of that.
Well, that right there, it sounds like a good idea. I mean, like, I don't smoke, but
I think it's going to be something that really is going to help me. I'm really excited. I could already start working on it right now for myself. But after thinking about this, I don't want to do this I want other parents to do this too. And I want to be able to find a breeder that's close to me that I can, drive to Michigan and I could work with. And so all these breeders from California and Texas, I have a Texas breeder working out with me. I'm like, man, you ain't supposed to be growing. But I got a lot of, cannabis cultivators that really want to do something for the community. And they really think that this could be profound, and it just could bring a lot of peace to somebody. And there's not a whole lot that I can leave behind for Hailey. I feel I want to get justice for her, and that's been my only focus for her this whole time. And I thought I could leave a strain behind. It'll be here forever, and it'll be Hailey's. And I really think it'll be real powerful, and it'll help me in my healing. It'll give me something. It'll give me something.
Yeah, make sure you get a contract or something, because they're gonna make a lot of money off of that, and that right there will help you be able to pay and take care of your family until the other situations get taken care of.
Well, with the monies that's made from the proceeds of the sales, I want to go back into the project to keep the project going for other people, other parents.
Okay.
And then I want to go for advocacy for cannabis, for being a medicine, and for things like the prisoner project, things like that. So I want the monies to just keep the project going, and to have an annual event every year. Breeders get together and they release seeds dedicated to children that's passed.
And it's all bubblegum stuff though, right?
No, that's just mine.
Okay.
So somebody else, gets with the breeder, and whatever the breeder's already working with, he might be having some skunk and he might have some gelato. And so they will talk and try to figure out what's going to be the best help for them. And then they get to pick a name for their, monster, Keisha Monster Kush or something, whatever, they pick out a name that is connected to their kid. And I think that's the powerful part of this. And it's really not a big deal. It's a breeder naming a strain. Instead of naming it pancake syrup, name it Hailey Bubblegum. It'll be so much more powerful and have a big impact on somebody like me.
Gotcha. Is there anything else that you're going to have going on besides just the main focus of getting justice for Hailey, getting justice for that baby?
Just raising a teenager and a preteen, that takes a lot of my time, and it's a big handful. I want to thank you this is a pleasure and an honor for me to come up here and do this with you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing. Yeah, I love you, Calvin.
I love you too, brother. And I want to thank you for being the first one, besides my wife, to come in and from a long travel to be in studio. And then I appreciate that. Like some of the producers that I deal with, they were like, "Hey, man, I know we doing the remote stuff, but we want to see somebody in studio." So before I came to pick you up. I texted him. I was like, "Yo, you got what you want, man. We got you in studio." He said, "When?" Like I said, right now. So
it's comfortable. It's nice. You got it set up really nice in here. It feels good. It's comfortable.
Yeah, thank you. We wanted to have it like a setting more, not like how other podcasts where we wanted to have the setting where it's like in the counselor's office. That's why we got the 3 chairs and like the ottoman and stuff, so you can relax and just and chill out and then just let your feelings out. I really thank you for coming up here and being on the show, and we're going to push this and get everything out that you need to be said, try to get you some help. So we're going to put this on all different platforms. I'm going to share it with the platforms that I always be with and talk to on a daily basis. We most definitely got to put it on the Hailey's page, because I went on there and I was getting information off of there also, and you got 18,000 plus people on there. I know it's somebody in there that can help you. For any parent that want to come on the show, just do like everybody else did and go to Grieving Our Babies Podcast invite at gmail.com, and I'm the host that cares the most, Calvin Hawkins, signing off. This concludes tonight's episode of Grieving Our Babies Podcast. Come back and join us on this journey of healing. Grieving Our Babies Podcast, where your voice matters, your pain is acknowledged, and together we find strength in sharing our stories. Go subscribe to us on YouTube and Instagram at Grieving Our Babies Podcast. Remember, you're not alone. We're here with you, listening, understanding, and grieving together. If any parent want to come on the show and tell their story, go to Grieving Our Babies Podcast invite at gmail.com. Until then, I'm the host that cares the most, Calvin Hawkins.